Hello. I'm going to read a bit from Beelzebub's Tales. Thanks only to the fact that your favourites, especially the contemporary ones, do not know or even suspect the necessity at least to adapt their famous education to the subconscious of their offspring, but always and in everything intentionally help every one of the rising generation to perceive impressions only from what is abnormally artificial. When any one of them reaches responsible age, all his being judgments and the deductions he draws from them are purely subjective. And these judgments and deductions have no connection either with the genuine being impulses arising in him, or with those lawful cosmic phenomena that it is proper to the reason of every three-brained beings to sense, and by means of which a bond is established between all the three-brained beings of our great universe for the collective fulfillment of the common universal functioning, for which purpose everything existing in the universe exists. Earlier today I was listening to Gurdjieff talk at one of the meetings recorded in Life is Real, Only Then When I Am. He had this sense of being skeptical that anybody was understanding him. And truly the way he talks, the way he describes things, in terms of the common cosmic functioning, centers, energies, it's very difficult for people to understand that. Some intellectual types who are attracted to this tradition are excited by exotic ideas, but they don't really feel any connection to them. On YouTube, for instance, there are many videos purportedly explaining the concepts of the fourth way, and I don't think I've seen a single one that is any good. Because what these people do is simply repeat the book. Sometimes they invest a lot of time to draw pictures or get photos, but they're just repeating the book. And then they may make some effort at some very slender and half-hearted connection to something in the world. For instance, they may find a photo of 7 things in the same view, like 7 people in a park or 7 skittles in a bowling alley, and they may say, look there, that's the heptaparaparshinok. But it's not the heptaparaparshinok. In Life is Real, Gurdjieff says that any one of his enemies could tomorrow morning become his best friend, because people's opinions are so automatic that they can just flip, and that they are wholly derived from the outside. I think that's very difficult to see, and people do not recognize it themselves. A person is aware that he is alive and that there's a functioning happening, but he does not own the functioning. But he doesn't really understand what it is to own the functioning. This is something very important. In the English language there are words. Liverish is a word. Another word is splenic. Splenic. I looked these words up once. And what they indicate is that sometimes in the past, British people recognized how the activity of the liver affects your character or your manifestations. Similarly, how your spleen affects your manifestations. And so they had these two words, liverish and splenic, which they no longer use. The words have vanished from common use. And as the words have vanished, the understanding has vanished. Perhaps within a few people, older people, there is still some understanding inside them, but soon that will vanish as well. And these people will be in a desert, and they will have lost something, that understanding. And it is frightening that people, human beings, may have lost vast amounts of self-understanding, generation after generation. In that we are now extremely fallen people, and once we were like giants thousands of years ago. I see it now, something that I had never expected. Younger people today just don't understand anything that I understood when I was young. They have no sense of the sacred or the Catholic Church. They have no understanding of a sacred marriage. It just doesn't mean anything to them. It has fallen into disuse. And they live in this little advertising world where everybody is happy. I've noticed in the last few days that cars on the roads, they have lights that are made of LEDs. Rather than previous to that they had halogen bulbs. And the LED lights, when I see a car with them or a bus, they really bother me. I think it's because of the flickering, but the quality of the light is extremely artificial. I mean, I find myself turning away from it. I immediately experience a kind of pain that comes from LEDs. And that's because I personally, I suppose, try to maintain the quality of my functioning, and I invest a lot of time in that, naturally. My neighbors here, they have in their gardens all sorts of power tools for washing the walls and mowing their tiny lawns, each of which is incredibly noisy, and they take turns to disturb each other. Jesus says You live in poverty, and you are the poverty. He says that in a synagogue to middle-class people who feel very proud of themselves. It's quite interesting because in the record, which is in the testimonies of those 4 students, he says that to the congregation, and at first they don't understand it. Later on they do understand it because he repeats it again. And then they try to throw him off a cliff. But he manages to get out of there and walk through the crowd and leave. It is truly difficult to talk to people about spiritual matters because they just don't get it. I don't know what has to happen inside of a person. I assume it's something to do with people needing to feel all 3 together, meaning the 3 forces. Yesterday I listened to an interesting guy. He was talking about Hermetic alchemy. He was talking for an hour and a half. At the beginning it was very interesting, you know, he had lots of different worked up ideas. I was really very interested, and I thought, you know, this guy's great, you know, he embodies some knowledge, he's learned something, it's good to listen to. And then halfway through, he started to bring in all these Facebook agendas, you know, the usual agendas, global warming, metrosexuality, all this kind of stuff. But then I just realized that this guy is just a fraud. He's just another mouth for this world. This guy's got nothing. And there are many people like that. Gurdjieff says that, or rather I will say, that the notion that somebody can know something and not be something is a modern degeneration. In previous times, you would judge a man by how he looks and how many children he's got and the quality of his house. If you'd like to listen to the rest of this recording and others, I've put them on Odyssey where there's no time limit. So please have a look on there. I've put the link down below. Take care.